Hello, everybody, and I'm the covers. I don't know why I said and, but here's my video review for Final Fantasy XIII to commemorate Final Fantasy XIII-2's release soon. Now, we're going to open up with the introductions and all the other things that Final Fantasy normally does. Now, what's so great about Final Fantasy XIII is how in-depth the game really is. If you look at it, there's a whole log that lets you see recent events, characters, myths, legends, and just everything about the story itself. It really just ties it in. Put along an awesome story like the one that Lightning and her friends endure, and you have one of the greatest Final Fantasy titles in a long, long time. So let's get into it and start with the graphics. Now, right off the bat, you can tell that Final Fantasy XIII's graphics are very impressive. Even more impressive is the fact that the Japanese studio at Square Enix reshaped the game so that way, instead of listening to the English voice actors and having the Japanese lip sync, they redid all the lip syncs for even the cutscenes and made it so that way they matched the English voice actors down to a T. Along with it, they gave it some pretty impressive characters, like the strong-willed and silent Lightning, the witty and ever-cautious Sazh, the annoying Vanale, the strong-witted Snow, and the sheltered Hope, along with a sixth character, Fang, which I can't really say too much about her because, you know, it's a very it helps the story on, so I'm not going to spoil anything for you. So while we're here, let's give a nice little let's talk about the gameplay for a second. What Final Fantasy is mainly about. Other than graphics, the core theme that brings Final Fantasy together is its over-the-top and diverse strategic gameplay that all RPGs have taken a note for. Final Fantasy has a way of making the games immersive, and as far as strategy goes, this is probably the best installation of strategy in a Final Fantasy game that anyone has ever seen. With a new system called the Paradigm Shift, you can now switch roles of your partners and make them a ruthless killing assault team, a very heavily guarded team that lets you have one person as a rock hard guard and another as a medic, and you can customize it, mix and match it any way you want. This screen right here is the result screen. See, after every battle, you get a star rating, what your score was, how long it took you to beat the fight, and how many Christian points you get. You also get spoils, like in every Final Fantasy game. Now, let me say again, the game looks beautiful. But before we can go on about saying how beautiful a game is, let's look as far as the story goes on. In the story, you play Lightning and one of her 5 main companions in their quest to try and save Lightning's sister, Sarah. Along the way, you encounter a boatload of enemies, and probably more friends as well. Another great point about the story is, Final Fantasy games have always made you feel like you had to care for these characters. So is the same with Final Fantasy XIII. Every character has a soul. Every character has an expression. And you always can feel it. The voice acting is superb. The sound quality is superb. The story is amazing. Everything about this game, from the scope of how big it is, to the graphical detail and attention to detail it is, everything about this game just makes it perfect. Now, there are some negatives, which I'm about to go into right now. One of the main gripes that I don't like about this game is the fact that it doesn't let you play as other characters. You either have a leader and members, and that's it. You can never play multiple roles of other characters. They always have to do the fighting for you. Another thing that I did not like about this game was the auto battle system. Taking away some of the strategy and leaving you open for many clues as to why the Final Fantasy team did this. Also addressed, there's no separate option for magic, nor is there a magic bar. Another thing that I did not like was the leveling system. There was no strict leveling system. This game never really had a strict leveling system. The only leveling system it had was the Christogen leveling system and the roles leveling system, but that's about it. No character can basically level up via themselves. Another thing I didn't like about the game was the fact that it's so narrow. The game goes by a storyline basis and just points you in one direction, when all other Final Fantasy games let you go around making your own story, doing whatever you wanted in your own time. At times, the game can seem very narrow, but it'll eventually open up as the game progresses. So what's my closing point in this game? Well, there's a lot of closing points, but I'm going to be honest and say what's on my mind. And I think that this game is very good. It has a unique story, fascinating characters to say the least. The graphics are top-notch and they look beautiful, rendered down to a T. And, like I said, it's beautiful. It's a great game. Now, there are some minor gripes with it, but that's nothing to worry about. Always push forward, that's what I say. Well, that's it. Now, here's for the final verdict for what I say. For graphics, I'm going to give them a perfect 10 because, like I said, the graphics are beautiful and I think the lip syncing was a superb job overall. The gameplay, 100% awesome. Like I said, there are minor gripes, but once you get past them, it really isn't that bad. Story, again, another perfect 10. I can't get over how great the story is to Final Fantasy XIII. You will hear me say it a lot. So, what's my main prognosis on this game? I'm gonna give Final Fantasy XIII a 5 out of 5 in my book, because this game is a true mark of perfection. The only time I've ever seen a game hit the mark of perfection is Metal Gear Solid 4. That's the only time. But that's been my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, like I always say, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to me, and I will be putting out more reviews as they go along. Also, February 1st, I will be putting the review out for Final Fantasy XIII 2. You gotta give me a day to play it, okay? And I will tell you my personal thoughts on what I think the game is awesome and all that other stuff, because it's gonna be awesome. So, that's been a video review. 5 out of 5. If you don't have Final Fantasy XIII, pick it up for Xbox 360 or PS3. It's should be on sale now for about $8 at GameStop used, or you can get it for $20 anywhere else, maybe 10 if you're lucky. Go pick it up, play it, love it, be one with it, and tell me you don't cry at the end of the game. I'm telling you, I cried at the end of the game. It was a beautiful fucking game. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed my review for Final Fantasy XIII, and I will see you back here for the review of Final Fantasy XIII 2.